Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Jen Ocknan. I am a former run-on Duncan gal turned certified integrative health practitioner. And I'm here bringing you a series I'm calling Shift from Fatigue to Fabulous. It's 30 days of wellness-inspired live content being brought to you right here on LinkedIn every day, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So I originally started this to get over my fear of going live because it is a little intimidating, let's be honest. And I wanted also to just expand awareness on certain topics because I think, especially in the realm of women's health, symptoms related to perimenopause and menopause, nutrition, balancing hormones, all these things, there's a real lack of actual information out there. And honestly, I think this is a huge gap in terms of medical research that is, we've missed it. We've got over half the population goes through perimenopause and menopause. And when you think about it, perimenopause starts. Hey, Kathleen, thanks for joining. Perimenopause starts 10 years before menopause. So if the average age of menopause is between 48 and 52, 10 years before that, you're starting to see perimenopause symptoms at age 40. You're living in the state of maybe less than optimal health, less feeling good, less feeling amazing, less feeling vibrant for half your life. Yet there is just such a lack of information. I didn't even know what perimenopause was. I had never even heard the word. My doctors never talked to me about it. My OBGYN had never talked to me about it. It was never brought up to me. And my mom never talked to me about it. God bless her. I love my mom. But, that whole generation really just didn't talk about those things. So that's why I am coming on here live because, I choose to work with women. My program focus is really corporate leaders, professionals, entrepreneurs, 40 plus who are starting to experience some of these symptoms, and they may or may not realize that they're related to hormones, and the things that they're trying just aren't working. Right. And why is that? It's because what you used to do in your 20s and 30s, it's not going to work now. You're a different woman. You have a different body. You have different things going on. And so my goal is to help to provide knowledge, to provide education, and also provide solutions, right? So that women can build a really strong foundation of healthy habits, foundation of knowledge to really kind of ride those waves of hormones that are going to happen throughout really the rest of our lives. And, menopause is not the end all be all. Okay. First of all, yay, no more periods. Let's just say it. That's fantastic. And number two, it can be a whole new experience, right? As women, we live longer, right? And we're doing other things. Kids have gone off to college. It's time to experiment. It's time to be curious about the world again. You have time to redefine yourself. So it's a really, really exciting time. But in order to take advantage of it, you have to feel good, right? You cannot be, being troubled with excess weight that you cannot lose, or hormones, or night sweats, or achy joints, or backaches, or your mood, right? Depression. I mean, there's so many studies that do say that, breakups, lack of promotions, divorces, mood, hormones play a part in that, whether the folks know about it or not, right? Some really interesting studies coming out. So today, though, what I want to talk to you about, this is my third week. This is episode 12. And if you saw the title of the episode, it's all about inflammation. And I think we hear about inflammation, but we don't really know what that is. And, quick client story. I had a nurse who I was working with. She's right here in the Atlanta area. Her name is Kat. And Kat came to me, and she enrolled in my program. And she just came to me. We had her last session last week. And she was so excited. She's like, "You're never going to believe this." I'm like, "What?" She said, "I went to my doctor She goes, do you know that the doctor told me that the last time that I was there for my checkup, I was 30 pounds heavier. It's like, yes, girl. That is what we are looking for. 30 pounds heavier. And doctor told her she was going to be at risk for going on high blood pressure medication. And she was having a really hard time with her energy levels. She worked shift work in a hospital. God bless all our nurses and the hard work that they do. And it can be so thankless. And she is just feeling great. She's totally transformed her habits working with me. She's eating healthy. She is feeling amazing. And she's lost 30 pounds and doesn't have to go on prescription. So remember, what are the number 3 killers that don't have to do with anything accidental, right? We're talking about heart disease. We're talking about stroke. We're talking about cancer, diabetes, right? I listed 4, I said 3. So for women especially, we're ignoring our cardiac health. And the fact that my client, Kat, does not have to go on high blood pressure. Her pulse was great. Her blood pressure was fantastic. She was down to I think 118 over 20 or something, which was her, ideal norm. Fantastic. So just so excited about that. And one of the things that we were working on, and she was so excited about it, is she really was feeling very bloated and inflamed, very, very uncomfortable. Lots of aching joints, a harder time working out. And as she was losing all that weight and inflammation, I'd get these messages from her in my client messaging app saying, Jed, guess what? I actually have to go get new pants because everything is falling off my hips. Okay. Every woman wants that. Here you are. If you've been struggling with weight for a long time, like Kat was, it's just such a phenomenal feeling. And she was able to do a little bit of shopping in the back of her closet too, but then also get some cool new looks coming in for fall. So excited about that. And it's just so relevant because people come to me for weight loss. Usually that's the first thing. They say they want to lose weight, but what they're really looking for is better health. They're really looking for better energy. They really want to feel like themselves again. So all this stuff comes out as I kind of lead you through the consultation. So for Kat, that was definitely the case. And I think all women, when I ask them a question, they say, well, of course, yeah, I want to feel better. I want to feel healthy. I want to have energy. I want to be able to do things, and not be so damn tired. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear here, but nobody tell, okay, to LinkedIn, please. So anyway, so this all leads into today's discussion about inflammation, because I think we all hear about inflammation, but maybe we're not too sure what it is, why we should care about it, and then how we can reverse it. Right? How can we get rid of it? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Is everybody excited about that? Can you give me a fire sign? Can you drop some heck yes? Can you drop some thumbs up, something on there? And if you are watching this on replay, thank you so much for being here. Put #replay in the comments. Original broadcast, let's see, this is August 29th, right? Super exciting. So whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching it on LinkedIn, I'm so happy to have you here today. So I want to go ahead and get started. So when we talk about inflammation, right, there's 2 types of inflammation that happens in our body. There's acute inflammation and there's chronic inflammation, okay? Acute inflammation happens when we have some sort of injury or illness. So for example, perfect example, you sprain your ankle. What happens? You get swelling, right? It starts to get inflamed. What is that inflammation? These are inflammatory cells, immune cells, and different chemicals that are swarming the area to help you heal. So in that case, inflammation is phenomenal. We want the inflammation, right? That's our body healing us. So does that make sense? Yes? Inflammation is good in that case. Chronic inflammation is what we're worried about. Chronic inflammation can come from multiple sources, right? We're talking about things that can really impact us in terms of our total lifespan, our total health, developing future diseases. And it can come from stress. It can come from lack of exercise. It can come from lack of sleep. It can come from poor nutrition choices. It can come when I say poor nutrition, we're going to really get into that today, but really just making sure that you are trying to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Again, fundamentals. I love to talk about fundamentals or the big boulders, right? Clean air, clean water, good sleep, clean food, right? Exercise, getting those things right matter. It doesn't, you can like get excited about the latest supplement, all you want. But if you're not taking care of the big five in a fundamental way, then that supplement's not going to do a darn thing. You're wasting your money. Okay. You're wasting your money. So when we talk about fixing chronic inflammation, the things that make us feel puffy, the things that make our joints just ache, our knees, our ankles, our elbows, our shoulders, right? This is the stuff that we need to worry about. Okay. This is our body knowing that something's in our system, something's wrong, and it can't get rid of it. So it's constantly, pushing out this immune response to try and heal us. But we're not helping our body heal, right? We're not helping our body heal. So I want to pop up something real quick here. See if this, I'm not sure. Can you guys give me a thumbs up? Can you see this? For me, the print's a little small, so I've got a printout like here. And I know there's one, a link that I dropped in here where you could get a handout when I talk about the food swaps. So that link is in the comments of this post. I'll drop it after as well. But what this is talking about is what is the difference between, say, a food allergy and a food sensitivity. Okay. So a food allergy usually happens, it develops when you're younger, when you're a kid, right? So there's a certain food that's harmful. And so your body is trying to attack it. You get a histamine response, right? So that's why when some people have allergic reactions, they're taking Benadryl, which my gosh, Benadryl knocks me out like a light. I prefer to take Claritin now when I have an allergic reaction. But this can be very severe or life-threatening. Some people have to carry around EpiPens, right? Can be very, very bad. So we're talking about shortness of breath. We're talking about swelling. I would have one eye that would always swell when I had an allergy reaction to something. Tingling, nausea, vomiting, right? Really, really bad. So you can see on here, when we're talking about from a food perspective, which is what we're digging into today, is the food, peanuts, soy, fish, shellfish, dairy, most common things. Right? Schools, you can't bring peanuts in. You're super careful in terms of what baked goods are in there because so many people have developed these allergies. Now, interesting note, in Israel, my husband's Israeli. Okay. So in Israel, there are almost no peanut allergies for kids, almost none. And it's really interesting, but there's this little, I'm not saying this is healthy either. I'm just not saying it, but there's this little, like it's a bag. It's not a chip, but they call it Bamba. And it's basically a peanut. It almost looks like, I don't know. It's not a Cheeto. I can't remember what they are here, but it's super soft. Like you put it in your mouth and it like melts. And they give them to like babies and kids and they're peanut based. And because they're having them when they're so young, they're exposed to it. The incidence of peanut allergies in Israel is almost nothing, which I find is so interesting. So happy side note on that. But I do think we could do a better job in terms of helping kids be exposed to different foods and helping overcome their allergies when they're little, but that's a totally different topic. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about a food allergy, which is an IgE reaction. Okay. When we're talking about food sensitivities and IgG reaction, which I actually just got an IgG test done and had my results back, this can develop at any age. It impacts, a very high amount of the population, 90% or more. And oftentimes we don't really recognize it when it happens. And we don't really understand, hi, Nedra, we don't really understand what food caused it. Because the IgG reaction, the sensitivity can happen so far, so many hours ahead of when we actually ate the food, right? Super helpful, right? Not really, not at all. Allergy, you usually know what it is right away. Boom, it happens. Food sensitivity, not so much. So symptoms of this are very, very different too. And they're very similar to a lot of other things, right? very similar to a lot of other things. So when we're talking about chronic fatigue, weight gain, right? What's on the list? Acne, migraines, bloating, gas, brain fog, weight loss as well as weight gain, right? Super interesting. So sensitivities here, wheat, gluten, I'm sure that's no surprise to anybody. Dairy, okay, fruit, vegetables, and corn. Most common sensitivities there. So you can see how a food sensitivity would be a little bit harder to pinpoint for yourself than a food allergy, right? Does anybody on here have any food allergies or sensitivities that you want to share? Okay. So let's talk now again, just real quick about IgE versus IgG reactions. And I won't put this up very long, but I really wanted to share this because I think this is a great chart. So again, this really kind of reinforces what we talked about on the other page, right? IgE, incidences is very low versus more high for an IgG response, right? IgE, the allergy, infrequent exposure. The offending food is usually obvious. Usually you're aware of it, right? So then you can avoid it, which is fantastic, right? And, you carry an EpiPen around with you if it's serious enough. Whereas IgG, high incidence, but you don't really know what the heck it is. You just know that you're bloating, you're inflamed, you're not feeling good, something's off. And it's very, very hard to figure out. So just again, big difference between the different types of reactions. So is that helpful? Because for a long time, I really didn't understand the difference between somebody when they said they have a true allergy reaction to something versus when they're sensitive. And as you can see, they're very different, right? They're very different. So again, when you have inflammation, right? Acute, talked about acute, you want acute, right? You sprained your ankle, you broke a bone, something's wrong in the body, and that acute inflammation, your body's immune response comes in and you're healing. That's what we want. This chronic inflammation that happens over time because we are making crappy food choices, we're working too hard, we're not taking breaks, we're stressing about everything, we're not giving our bodies a chance. If you took my stress masterclass early in the spring, Kathleen, I know you were there, right? What do you got to do? You got to take more breaks during the day, my friends. You got to chill. You've got to activate your rest and relax, your parasympathetic nervous side. How do you do that? You do more things that make you feel happy, safe, and loved. Okay, simply. So how is that bad advice? It's not bad advice at all. It's amazing advice, right? But nobody's doing it. I shouldn't say that. More people are doing it. But that's why I'm talking about it, because it's these simple things have monumental impact in terms of your health and can truly make a difference. And isn't that better than getting a prescription for something? For sure. It is, right? You don't have to worry about yet another set of side effects. And you're not really fixing the root cause issue. I'm all about root causes here. Let's identify the root cause. Let's restore deficiencies in the body. Let's reduce toxicities. And let's let your body heal itself. Let's support it. Let's support the body. That's what this is all about. So chronic inflammation, bad. We want to get that gone, right? So again, I mentioned better sleep. Maybe I'll do a show on sleep quality, sleep hygiene, sleep cycle, why it's so important. Would anyone be interested in that? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a fire sign, something. Is anybody interested in that? If so, let me know. I will check comments after too, if you think that would be a great topic. So let me get that fire sign out of there. So now what I want to talk about is I want to talk about food choices. So this is the free download presentation that I put the link out there for. If you don't have it now, you can get it afterwards. No issues. Kathleen, yes, perfect. Netra from Nepal. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining. That is phenomenal. I love it. Thank you. This is a picture of me. This is a picture of me. Actually, I was in London with a trip. I am looking very dumpy. And, it was a great trip. I was with my mom. This was the trip that, if you've heard my story before, where I couldn't fit in any of my clothes and I was meeting my team in Florence, Italy. After that trip to Florence, Italy, I flew to London. I flew my mom over to London. So blessed to be able to do that. We did a bunch of sightseeing. And then I stayed to visit some of our service shops in the UK. My mom flew home. So this is a picture of me actually when I was sightseeing with my mom. And I don't think I've hated a picture more. I hate it because I was really unhappy with how I looked and I was super unhappy with how I felt. Okay. So working on core fundamentals, right? Obviously a big change. And yes, way better hair. Okay. Way better hair. But my hair is healthier too. I've never had long hair like this since I was probably 5, 6 years old. Okay. So just you can do tremendous things to fix your bloating and your joint aches and your overall sense of blah and your mood and everything when you fix chronic inflammation. Not to mention you are decreasing the risk of developing a very serious disease that has honestly high mortality rates, right? Heart disease, stroke, diabetes, cancer, right? It's not good. Every time as we are chronically inflamed, we are weakening our immune response. Nobody needs that, right? We need strong immune systems. So let's talk about, it is now 12:20. So if you are just joining me, what we're talking about is swaps that you can make, simple swaps, 5 of them, in terms of nutrition to help reduce any sort of chronic inflammation that you have going on in your body. And so we're going to talk about these swaps here. So the first one, this is something that I get into a lot with my clients in Fatigue to Fabulous, is understanding, why do I recommend certain swaps, right? So this is right from work that I do with my people in my program. Obviously, I'm designing them full meal plan, and we get into custom supplementation and of course detoxing. If you haven't seen my detoxing shows, but we do all of that. But this is really important, and I really recommend y'all make these swaps. So when we talk about artificial sweeteners going into the restaurant, I don't want anybody using the pink, the blue, or the yellow packets anymore. Artificial sweeteners stay in your body. They are horrible for you, okay? They lower your good bacteria in your gut microbiome. Aspartame is actually a neurotoxin that attacks your body. Let's just eat more neurotoxins, right? And when you think about sucralose, this is sugar, but to make it low calorie, they've added in a molecule of chlorine. Who wants to be ingesting chlorine? Not me. Not me at all. So organic stevia, organic monk fruit, right? Manuka honey, right? Very, very good substitutes. Even if you just want to have real sugar and a small amount, I am not an anti-sugar person. I'd rather have you have real sugar that tastes good, that is not like staying in your body and it's full of chemicals and preservatives. Okay. Now, if you have too much sugar, that can cause inflammation and things like arthritis, etc. But again, moderate to low sugar intake is better for you than filling your body with a bunch of artificial sweeteners that are going to wreak havoc with your gut microbiome, right? Almost every woman who comes to me has gut issues as well. Overgrowth of yeast, right? Too much bad bacteria, digestive issues, bloating, right? So not all the bloating is due to the menopause spread. Some of it is due to just an unhealthy gut microbiome, which we can fix. Second one, looking at GMO meats. So we're talking about beef and poultry here. Always go for, grass-fed, free range beef or chicken whenever you can. And by the way, vegetarian hens, that is such bull, okay? My grandparents had a farm. They had chickens and turkeys and cows and all the things, okay? The chickens and the turkeys ran around and they were eating bugs like crazy. It's good for them to eat the bugs. And I especially loved it when they're eating the ticks, right? Nobody likes ticks. Kathleen, chlorine is hazmat. Yes, exactly, girl, exactly. So you really, really want to go with grass-fed. So again, this destroys your healthy bacteria in your gut. You can get candida overgrowth. You can get leaky gut. Just not great, okay? Farm-raised fish. Issue with farm-raised fish is when you talk about your ratios of omega-6 to omega-3s, right? So you talk about omega-6 fatty acids, you really, you want to be having more of your omega-3s, right? Almost every person that I talk to, I give them an omega-3 supplement. Usually that's very low, and supplementing with omega-3s is incredibly helpful. But again, this was an interesting fact that I wrote down that I did not know this. Farm-raised fish have about 20% less protein per serving than wild caught. Why? Because they're filled with fatty acids, apparently. But they can also have a bunch of PCBs in them, which can lead to cancer risk. And of course, they pump them full of antibiotics so they don't get sick in all the fish pens, right? There is sustainable farm-raised fish, right? In my hometown, Bucksport, Maine, there is a fishing company that's actually going to do some really great sustainable salmon in the Penobscot River on the Atlantic. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be great jobs for the town because the paper mill moved out. They really cleaned up the area. Now it's going to be sustainable fishing. So super excited about that. But again, in general, go for the wild caught. Okay. And you can tell by the color, you can tell by the qualities, the salmon falling apart. Eek. Okay. 4 minutes left. I'm running long. So cow dairy, this is maybe 50-50. Okay. I prefer non-dairy, honestly. I haven't drank cow's milk or any type of animal milk in years. Honestly, it gives me the yips to think about it. Cheese, I do like cheese. If you have any sort of digestive issues this way, you might want to try, instead of having cow's cheese, try sheep or goat. Think about it from a size comparison, right? The molecules in cow's milk, cow is obviously much bigger than we are, right? Whereas a sheep or goat are smaller. So the bigger molecules, they're just harder for us to digest. Okay. So again, try for goat cheese, try for sheep cheese. Obviously, you get less risk of antibiotics as well. But cow dairy, they say everybody gets inflammation from it. In studies I've seen, it's about 50-50. So something to try anyway. The last one, talking about oils. This is something I get into a lot with my folks because we talk about healthy cooking habits. So canola oil is a vegetable-based oil, very, very high in omega-6 fatty acids. It causes oxidative stress on the body. It causes calcification of the arteries. So like double risk for heart disease there, coronary heart disease. Don't use canola oil. It's terrible for you. You can switch. Now, olive oil, amazing. And I use olive oil for almost all my cold things, like my favorite salad dressing, olive oil, lemon juice, salt and pepper. Boom. All you need. Super fresh and delicious. Avocado oil, that's safe for high heat applications, right? So more often I cook with avocado oil. Coconut oil has a little bit more saturated fat, but it's still safe for up to medium heat cooking. And if I'm making like an Asian dish or something, I like the taste, especially if I'm making Thai food, homemade at home. Coconut oil gives it, kind of a nice flavor. Now, interesting thing about olive oil. People used to say, well, you can't cook with olive oil. Technically, you can if you only take it up to like a medium heat application. At that point, then it's safe. You're not, making it oxidative. With the high temperatures, you can go to medium. There's this special property in olive oil. Olives are amazing. Gift from Hashem, gift from God. And very, very safe to use, both cold application. It's super good for you, as well as up to medium high heat in your cooking. So these are 5 swaps that I would love for you to consider, and in terms of making changes to your diet. So I got 1 minute left. Let me take a look. Kathleen says, I heard from a nutritious naturopath years ago, you should never have milk from another mother. I love it. I love it. Almond milk, this is funny. Okay, so almost all nut-based milks, here's the thing. You're not getting a lot of calcium. So there's this new milk brand here called Ripple, Ripple, that's made from pea protein. It has, I get the unsweetened kind, and it actually has 8 grams more of protein. So usually these nut-based milks, I do use them in my smoothies and things. but they don't have a lot of protein. So if you are looking to increase protein in your day, Kathleen, when you and I talked, or I saw a comment, I think you said you wanted more protein, switch to Ripple, girl. Because if you're using that in your smoothies or whatnot, you could get an additional 8, 16, 24 grams of protein, without even trying. Okay. So that is it for today in terms of presentation. So I've been sharing these on YouTube. I've started to share these with my email community. I've put these on my business page, Shift into Health. So if you're watching this and you haven't gone to Shift into Health, I'll put the page link in the comments, but I would really appreciate it you going in and following the page, because once I get 150 followers there, I can stream directly to the page as well as to my personal page. And then I don't have to keep copying it over, and it's just easier for people to find stuff, right? All my lives, only lives, are going to be on that business page. The other thing I want to talk about, I had mentioned my client Kat, who's the nurse who lost 30 pounds since her last doctor's visit from working with me. She doesn't have to be on high blood pressure meds, just amazing results. So everything that we've talked about today, where I've been talking about inflammation, I've been talking about toxicity, I've been talking about blood sugar management, right? These are all things that I get into with my clients in my program. And this is a 90-day program. So when you think about it in terms of, oh, I'm so busy, I got this going on, I got that going on. Well, September, October, November, 90 days, boom. September is a perfect time to start, right? It's before the busyness of the holidays. Kids are back into school. You're done traveling for the summer, and you could be rolling into December 10 to 20 pounds less, feeling great, having a bunch of new healthy habits, a bunch of great tools at your disposal, and feeling stress-free going into the busy holiday season. How perfect is that? So think about that. From a timing perspective, I don't think there's a better time of the year, right? So if you are interested, just send me a DM. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk about you. I want to find out about you. I want to find out what's going on. I'll talk about the program in some detail, and we'll see if you're a good fit. And I'll tell you if you're not, because I don't want to waste your time or your money, and I don't want to waste my time either. But I want to help people who are the best fit for the program. But it is phenomenal because each month I take you through a bunch of phases. And the last phase of the program, I take you through a food elimination protocol where we eliminate the top 5 highly inflammatory foods, a couple more on here, so that you can be super clean. You are detoxing. You're getting rid of foods that most commonly cause these IgG reactions. And then we slowly reintroduce the foods so you can test the reactions on your body. So without needing to do a lab test, just as part of the protocol, one of the things I tell my clients is, at the end of it, you know what foods serve your body. Because food isn't good or bad. It's not a naughty child, right? It's just, does food serve your body, and does it serve your health goals? And that's what I help you find out. So again, amazing time. Enrollment is open for my program. I am taking new clients right now. You've got 90 days. You could kill it in September, October, November, and be rolling into Christmas and all the parties and New Year's Eve looking absolutely fabulous. So, hey, Amy, thanks for joining. Hi, Assad. So that's all I have for today. If you're just joining us now, again, I think it was Kathleen. I don't know. You tell me, did you guys get value from it? Did you love it? If so, I want to see fire signs everywhere, right? Fire signs everywhere in the comments. The replay will be running here. I save it to my YouTube. I'm going to double check and make sure the link so that you can get this download yourself is in the comments. And then the replay is always going to be there. So thanks so much. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow at the same time, same place. I'm going to have my first ever guest speaker. Mr. Mike Manley is going to join us, and we're going to talk about a new joint venture him and I are doing. I'm a founding partner of the new organization Club ABA, Activity Builds Activity. This is a club for 50 and over, singles and couples. And we're going to talk all about it in the half an hour tomorrow during lunch. Take care, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow.